A country loon without a care. The squeal was by, it was nae mere. Fit did the world hae in store for him, fit indeed would be its queen. It was said it was best to hae a trade, so next a trip to the masons was made. Like his father afore him, he took up the trule, at 21 shillings a week in a 3-foot rule. He started at the bottom rowing barras of bricks, and was made a fellow wi' a' the old tricks. Fingers a hucket and pints rubbed through, carrying bags of cement brocht a sweat till his brow. Yon half a piece dinners, nae fine at a', thermos flasks that I broke if they happened to fa'. Huddled in the back wa' a larry wi' caul frozen feet, but the foreman was lucky, he aye got the front seat. Time wore on and on to the scaffold he got, and files he laid a fleer wi' his ain timmer float. And at last he was lippin' to big a plum nuke, and abdy come round to hae a gweed look. But afore very long a' that skill would be lost, when a brown-coloured envelope was delivered through the post. For the next 2 years his freedom had gone, it was off to the barracks at the brig o' dawn. A shock to his system, he wished he'd never been born, and to mak matters worse, a kilt had to be worn. A true Scotsman he was, o' that he can boast, so to start wi' he felt the call, and had a sneeze and a host. Roared and bawled at as he learned to drill, and the sergeant took a fit if he couldn't stand still. Brasso and Blanco made his kit look recht bra, and his hair was cropped recht down to the raw. Beats had to be bold and shining like new, and for something to eat he was merched to a queue. My God, it was grim and made him feel sick. This carry on for 7 shillings and 6pence a week. After training was by, it wasna into battle, but a transfer to Edinburgh down by the castle. Out on manoeuvres on the green Pentland hills, crawling here, there and away, till he was blue in the gills. But I suppose he was lucky when you think how fit could have been, and at least he'd done his duty for country and queen. 2 years in the Gordons fairly left their mark, and after the mob it was back to the work. But times were gey dodgy and likely to get worse, so he thought he'd be better to try for the force. To Bathgate at first, syne a wee bit north, to bonny South Queensferry on the banks of the Forth. It's famed for its brigs, Byth, rail and road, and for the next 2 years this would be his abode. 'Twas here a dark nicht he'd to pull a lad for the sea, and was honoured with a reward for his bravery. The mannie thanked him for saving his life, as he tried to walk in water on his way hame to Fife. Then back up the road till his ain north-east nook, the stories he could tell would fare full of buke. Bucksburn was first, nae far for the town, but still it was grand for a country loon. The how of the mairns be why o' a quirk, till Lowrney kent better as Lawrence Kirk. The long mile of misery was trod wi' a will, and the law was upheld on the Garvick Hill. Now there's much mair to tell, but we've run out of space, and I wonder if some of you can put a name to this face. I'll gie ye a clue to this man on the beat, and leave ye recht now wi' a look at his feet. I like to visit een or twa of the places that are familiar to us all. This time it's the turn on New Pitsligo, New Byth, the Garmond and Cuminestown. To keep you company on your travels, I'll be playing 2 of my own tunes, the Helen Ellis Waltz and A Diamond Day for John and Chrissy Williams. But moving on again. As you can see, I'm standing outside the TA Hall at Keith. Now you may think that there's better places in the town to do an introduction for, but in keeping with the theme that most places we visit have had some bearing on my life, I couldn't very well leave this note. It was here in this very hall that I regained my freedom. I was demobbed here after my national service, so you can appreciate that it has fond memories for me. But of course there's much more to see in this fine old town, so let's get going. Come by the firm of Birkenburn and soon you'll reach Keith town. We'll follow our nose, poke it here and there, and haig we'd look roon. Reid Haven Square, so broad and wide, for 2-3 roads a meet. Sign turn recht if there's nothing coming, and dander down mid-street. We'll take our time and see the sights and watch fit why we go. It's a AY, and the humps in the road fairly mak you slow. It's plain to see this part of Keith is bigot wi' local steen, and that it wasn't a bigot yesterday, but mere like long seen. Then, round the corner here we go, with the bowling club in the recht, and across the road the War Memorial, as a bonny secht. A tribute to the local lads and the great sacrifice they made, but proof is here that among the rain their memory winna fade. The bandstand stands so proud and braw in another grassy swathe. A monument honours a son of Keith for all the contributions that he made. The Kirk o' Keith St Rufus, along wi' Botrifne Tea, is a building o' great majesty, and een o' the best you'll see. The Auld Brig and the Isla is steeped in history deep. Campbell's Hole, with tales so bold, can fairly mak ye creep. But nowadays you're welcome to sit quietly on a seat and watch the waters rippling by, nae distance for your feet. Now, next for something different, and I'd like to bring to you the Manny on the Tranny, wi' his tunes so guid and true. He brings up each Monday night and Friday evening tea. Mak sure you listen to KCR if you've nothing else to do. The Keith to Dufton Railway is back upon the rails, the engines spewing out the smoke for folk it never fails, and the little Keith Town station has been gien a recht spring clean, and to hae a journey back in time, you can tell fu much it can mean. We'll hae a look at Strathyla, the hame o' a weel kent dram. To come to Keith and miss this place, we'd be forever damned. Its product, ken baith far and wide, brings folk the best of cheer, o'er the world, in ony clime, at ony time o' year. Now keeping abody happy, we'd better heed out the road. Fife Keith in a' its glory, the square we now behold. And far out, a quick look round, I think that's fit we will. The Main Street and the War Memorial at the outpost called New Mill. Now something for the past that in Keith is nae yet deed. The bacon on a girdle, o' guid old-fashioned breed. The ingredients are a rub it in and sign rolled out a flat. And afore you ken, I'm making a breed. Now, for do you think of that? And so it's time to say farewell to the folk fa in this corner bide. A place so narrow draughty lanes that cross fae side to side. The Seafield Hotel, a former jail, and the Milton Tower run down, but now we tak our leave of Keith, wi' fond memories o' the folk and the tune. Fae Keith we've made our way to Deeside, and in particular to Banchory. Join me as we show you the splendours of this bonny tune, as I play a tune specially composed for the occasion, which I've entitled The Rocks of Fuch. I'm sitting in what used to be the centre of social activity in Woodhead, the Hall. In my young day we had Scottish country dancing, a community club, a drama club, concerts, fest drives, a film showings a week, and hardly a week passed without a we'd go and dance. Sadly, times have changed, and this hall, like so many others, is now a ghost of what it used to be. But thinking back to the good old days when folk were mere contented and they sailed to please, they were quite happy to make their own enjoyment, and it was not all that bad, as we'll see in the days afore TV. Thinking back to years ago, to the days afore TV, who ever did folk for their time, whatever did we do? Well, shut your een and get some thought, just turn over in your mind. I'm sure, like me, you're bound to say, we managed brawly fine. For music we had a gramophone that had to be powered by hand. Needles scrape it out the tunes, Curly Mackay and Jimmy Shan. We danced and clapped our hands and files we had to sing, with Harry Lauder, Harry Gordon, and an American lad could bing. Our wireless now was second hand and crackled and I let out a hum. The aerial, it was on a pole, facing to the kitchen lum. But although our folk were interested in the outside world's views, to save the batteries, wheat and dry, it was only switched on for the news. The bairns I took tigs and had a different game each week. For nights and nine they'd flee about playing at hide and seek. Then kick the canny would be the rage, scuffing a their sheen, mithers roaring loud and long, your souls'll be rubbit deen. Marbles next would be in fashion, or as we kent them, bowls. Kipey was a favourite, but nobody was sure o' the rules. The lasses were dab hands at skipping, and to keep theirselves in time, they jumped and sang as the rope got roon and shouted out a rhyme. Then, do ye mind in this scene? A pern and four little nails, a ba o' bonny coloured bowl, and afore ye kent it, catties' tails. Concentration was the answer as well as a steady hand, but the ain result was soon achieved, a canty teapot stan. Bit grown-ups played their part in and were never at a loss. A favourite on a Sunday night, a game o' pitch and toss. The foreman's knife stuck in the grun, and the distance wheel paced out. It was fun, but still in earnest, o' that there's little doubt. Jigsaw puzzles, both big and small, would last for mony a nicht. The corners first, then round the edge, but some bits were gey ticht. Upside down and back the front, they fairly had ye guessing, and when ye got to the end of the thing, there was usually twa bits missing. And then there was the weekly whist, for maist folk turned up. They took a basket with stuff to eat, and abdy brocht their cup. The cards were dealt out at random, but usually somebody took the humph, when their partner took the race of hearts with a great big muckle trump. Another game was lexicon, and it was grand to hae a dabble at the forerunner of the present day, the mere sophisticated Scrabble. Snakes and ladders up and down as you rattled out the dice, and Ludo with its coloured discs held abdy in a trice. Stamp collecting took up the time of folk o' different ages. Kings and queens and bonny scenes filled the album's pages. You sent awa to the hotspur, or wi' pals you did a swap, and afore you kent it, there they were, fae a' o'er the world's map. And fit about the tapestries, wi' wool and needle ticht, pouring o'er the canvas frame, determined to get it recht. Patience was a virtue, some folk couldn't eat it a', but tak a look at this masterpiece, hanging proudly on the wa'. So there you go, we've travelled back and had another look, to a time when folk were contented to settle down at nicht wi' a book. But nowadays you can watch a video or listen to your favourite CD, or spend your time, like a lad I ken, soon asleep in front o' a TV. Well, we're fairly getting round the countryside, and here we are paying a musical visit to another one of the places I was stationed at during my time in the Bobbies. There's a great deal to see in Elgin, but I'd like to mention the tune I'm going to play. I composed it especially for a concert at Inverurie in aid of Marie Curie Cancer Care, and made a promise that it would feature in my next video. The title, Precious Moments, is apt indeed for the wonderful work that organisation does, and also, I hope, how you'll view our visit to Elgin. Now, here's something short and sweet. It's surprising how many folk didn't appreciate the treasures on their own doorstep. With this in mind, I thought a few lines about the most exhilarating season of the year wouldn't be out of place. So here it is, spring in all its splendour. At first we have the snowdrops poking up their fragile heads, fechting their way up through the grun, the frost and sometimes weeds. They stand so proud, so fighting pure, in clumps so bonny and green, and here we've found for you to view some of the bonniest to be seen. They're followed by the crocus, a mass so multicolour, yellow, blue and purple, to ease cauld winter's pallor. They're fragile craters, this wee bloom, o' that there's little doubt, and dinna last that very long, and rarely see mair shoot. Then we have the daffies, awash wi' yellow hue, a sign that spring is fairly here, they nod and welcome true. They trumpet out their presence in a show that's hard to beat, spread-eagled like a carpet, recht aneath our feet. Then fit about the mountain ash, or as we ken it, the rodent tree. The leaves are just beginning, a touch of green you'll see. Through days ahead they'll flourish, as all our folkies say. Its berries, red and shiny, will bring colour to the brae. Another sign that spring is here, the lambs at the side of the dyke, jumping high up in the air, did ever ye see the like. Fighting black, nae colour bar, they're just like fleecy toys. To shepherds and to farmers, they're een o' spring's great joys. And so ye see ye dinna hae to look through a glossy book, a wander round about your hame to places worth a look. The wonders o' a new year's dawn, for surely it will bring the freshness that heralds this new age, and the beauty that is spring. Have you ever noticed a pair solitary chiels standing with his arms stretched out in a park in the middle of nowhere? And have you ever wondered to yourself what could he be thinking? Some folk call him a scarecrow, others call him a tatty bogle, but to us he's aye been kent as a tatty booty. It'll maybe surprise you to ken that he's nae as lonely as you would think, but let's hear for the man himself. I'm a weel kent face in the country. I'm the laird o' a' that I see. I stand through all kinds of weather, for the farmers depending on me. He's tried all kinds of other ploys for things that ging bang in the nicht, to plastic desks tied on a tow that rattle and shine in the licht. But he's forced to admit they just dinna work, so it's back to the basics it can goodie. The loon has been telt, gingin' rig out wer freen, there's nothing to beat an old-fashioned tatty booty. So he rakes round about and sees me at last, hiding in a nook and looking forlorn. Come on, he says, Tat, there's nae need for that. Ye start working the day after the morn. But soon the time comes and I'm a rigged out with the best set of clays in the lawn, a windling a stray stuffed up my backside and a thick pair of mittens on my hand. An old bonnet to the farmers is stuck in my head and a pipe stopped into my moo. I'm ready for action, I that I am, in the fecht against craw and cushy do. I stand there alert, watching all that goes on, and see things I wouldn't repeat. A young courting couple crawled through the long grass and spent 2 hours lying recht at my feet. The time I like best is the quiet in the morning when the sun creeps up in the east. The countryside fresh and a day newly born is a pleasure for man, loon and beast. A rabbit come by and looked up and down. It didn't seem all that pitoot, but I had a laugh when I let out a host, and by God, it didn't half scoot. A birdie or 2 come and sat in my head and chirped their way through a song, but when things started dropping down the back of my neck, I said, I hope you're nae going to be there awful long. Another experience that's nae fine at all, in fact, it can gie you a flag. When 2 little moosies, aye, yon fine furry things, start making a nest at the top of your leg. And foo would ye like standing with your arms stretched out, trying to scare off a big hoodie craw, when the thing that's recht in front of your mind is foo to gie a yoky oxter a claw. Now you see some guy fairlies you've got to keep to yourself, shut your een and mak on you're asleep. I'll never forget, for the park next to mine, the day the minister's wife stole a neep. Now another long day has slipped awa, and the sun's sinking down out of sicht. It's been a gey chav, but I did nae that bad, and can sleep wi' an easy conscience the nicht. Now, time's worn on, and I'm needed nae mair. It's back to the steading for me. A bundle of stray and twa paling posts is a' that there is left to see. But dinna feel sorry, I'm in need o' a rest, and I can say that I will await. The winter'll pass in nae time at a', for I've still got my memoirs to write. Every August there are flower shows held over the northeast, and a bonny sicht they are too. But of course there's a lot of hidden work goes on afore the judges have to be faced. The day I'm visiting Charlie Fraser, for kens just about everything there is to ken about gardens and flower shows. Charlie keeps a recht tidy tune here at Kitchen Hill, and in fact I've been sick of liking tilt that when you folk head over the hill to the Stuartfield Flower Show, I'll bide here and play the Bonnie Blooms of Buchan. I'll catch up with you later. Fae Stuartfield to Hutton's nae distance at all, but we've stopped for a breather afore heading for our next port of call, the town of Peterhead. I'd like fine to bide and hear news with the friendly folk of Hutton, but time's wearing on, so I'd better make tracks. But you can come with me, for you're more than welcome to join me as I hear Roon, the blue tune. As you travel slowly up the road, a biting wind blaws in your face, and round the corner you're confronted with the licht house at Buchan. This eastmost part of Scotland, with its rocky wave-swept shore, is Buchan to its intimers, Buchan to the core. Then on to a place that kents a wheel with its high forbidden wa's, the folk foresee this as their Hame have had scant regard for laws. And yet as there's a touch of romance that comes from memories dim. Mention the child at Peterhead, and Johnny Rominski comes to mind. Then looking over the bay to the skyline o' the toon, a sech that sticks in the mine o' mony a buck and loon, the Lido and the Brackwater, and beyond the open main, for fisher folk have plied their trade in sun and snaw and rain. Drummer's corner, pedestrianised as is the modern way, but looking round about you could be in Edinburgh, Fife or Skye. The shops are all the usual, you can recognise each and every name, but it's lost its local feeling, and to me it's nae the same. Thank God for Walter Allen's, that long-established name, and Zanray's that Abdi kens o for its chips and ice cream fame. And Duncan's there in Earl Street, there's never been the like. It's the only place to heed for if you've problems with your bike. Fisher Jesse's sculpture is a work of modern man, a reminder of days long seen and the link atween sea and land. Unfit she travelled mony a mile in the country she was kent recht weel. A welcome secht was Jessie, with her basket and her creel. Round the corner in Queen Street is the Moscow Vodka Bar, and could this now be a harken back to sailors fae afar? The Kit Kat cafes been on the go as long as I can mind, and the Salvation Army in this modern world has stood the test of time. There is a thing in Peterhead I wouldn't like you to miss. It's a famous institution in this corner of the earth, ken better as the Buchan with a history o' long fame. Aye, it's the Buchan Observer, to gie it its Sunday name. The toon house looks o'er Broad Street, 1788 is its date, and Field Marshal Keith's statue is there to mark his fate. And farrer down in keeping with days no long since by, the Reform Monument o' 1832 pints upwards to the sky. The harbour aye bustling as the boats a' come and ging, the lunar bow, the vigilant, the fertile, and syne the lapwing. Fae Oban and Inverness, fae Banff and Bucketee, they heed for this welcome port with their harvest fae the sea. The Yogi tiptoes down to the sea, you'd hardly ken it's there. The sun, the birds, the peace and quiet, it's yours and mine to share. Bernay's brig and the golf course fit mere could onybody need, for this is a place o' solitude to the folk o' Peterhead. And so we leave this corner, and maybe we could have shown you mair, but I'd like to think we've gi'n you a whiff o' Buchan air. A hard-working population, so diverse it well may be, but blue mugginers can had their heads up as they toil on baith land and sea. I'm here at the fit to the best Kent secht in the northeast, Bennachie. Wherever you gang, it's there. There's nae getting off it. It's a recht looking at it fae a distance, but I'm sure there's a fair few folk like me, would like to retrace the steps they took when they were younger, and once again stand and take in the view for the mither tap. Well, that's what's going to happen. But when you're a picking your way up the hill, I'll just sit here and play Hell o' My Heart. I'll see you off when you come down. I'm standing at the side of the Methlick to New Deer Road with the patchwork of the countryside at my back. But more to the point, I'm standing on the hill of Bennachie, or as it's better kent, the hill of Bennachie. There has been in recent times concern expressed about names becoming modernised, but I don't think there's ever much to worry about, for Bennachie is only one of the good old-fashioned names still to be found in our corner. And as you'll see, I've unearthed a few more as we can round about on this tour of discovery from Bennachie to Bogandreep. So off we set, been away on New Deer, and you can mak out fit you well. There stands the Mayor o' Bedlam, for athing new is still. And up the road a bitty, and I'm nae trying to pull your leg, for never mind the spelling, round about here, this place is called Beeltegg. Then on to Greens we ca and by, and this ain's worth a look, for thacking reefs and rocks astray, you couldn't beat Sprote Nuke. The Bogie Grun, aye, it's still there, down in the Nukewa Park, for lads with scythe and sharpening spent long hard hours at work. Syne, heeding over the Bible Helvie and covering money a mile, we're faced with cats and horses at a place called Dubby Style. There's nae a sign of ony dubs, and the girse is fine and green, and the gardens round about the house could be said to be fit for a queen. Now here's a name to puzzle ye when you mak her in its secht. It's Money Quebec. Aye, ye fella heard me recht. Just tak a look around ye. It's een kirkyard and the apostle trees, but I canna help but think it is something to do with cheese. Come out the way of Meldrum to the fit of Barra Hill, for blankets couldn't be better named, ye dinna feel the chill. Its history is shrouded in mystery, and food got its name, but nowadays it's a haven of peace, for abdy feels at hame. A run round by Port Elphinstone will fairly mak our day, for there ye see a modern street, called old-fashioned Shunnery Brae. But the port is nae the only place to mak ye look round twice, for there's a Fairies now in Bucksburn, and a Bonziech place in Dice. There's a biblical connection in our earth with a sign to Jericho. Turn off the road at Colby, and would ye believe it, ye hinna far to go. And if ye are a prophet of doom or in need of peace of mind, just heed for Eithen Bank, and you'll come to world's end. Out the Afford way there is a place by the name of Muggart Hach. Now that's the place you want to ging for a dram, a news, or a lach. Sign up the hill and bend the road, with the wind and the trees gieing a sough, and there you'll see a bonny sign to the famous Guys o' Tuch. Just off the road a bitty, and I've heard mair than anybody say, if ye dinna want to be left a hen, ye man heed for Forret Brae. It's worth a look, the houses, the gardens and the flowers, for Foggy's wee green fingers have been kept occupied for hours. Then back out into the country and round by Netherley, Hairy Hillock wi' its stables was next up on our way. I could hardly see a hillock, and it didn't look hairy to me, but the horses were a toppers, brushed and groomed down till at tea. No merchants mertly up the road, and your step it couldn't be lichter, for here's a name to mak your hair curl. It's the hill o' Clochan Dichter. A view to the north recht o'er the town atween the Don and Dee, and farer east Port Lethen and our friend the grey North Sea. And now we come to the een I like best, but I'll let ye hae a peep. It's on the road to the Cairn Mount. It's the brig o' Bogandreep. Fit better a name could yer be than that, to mak your heart stand still. If Bogandreep disna deet, I doot if onything will. Now maist of the names I've mentioned would puzzle mony a man, and fin you come to think o't, fit why is Strachen called Strahan? Ach, I'm deeing nae mair about it. I'll leave to other folk, as I settle down and tak in the view back here at Bennachie. Now we're back for our second visit to Keith. Somebody said that as we did thorough show on my first video, it would only be recht to give Keith show a short tea. So nae sooner said than done. The weather last year could have been better, but I'm sure it winna spell your visit as I play you round the showground with twa new marches. Most folk have fond memories of their grandparents, although some sadly are never given the opportunity to meet them. This next story tries to capture the highs and lows of a youngster as he looks back on the time he spent with his granda. No doubt it'll mirror the thoughts of a fair few folk and maybe raise a smile or bring a tear to a knee. Whatever happens, I hope you enjoy Granda. My granda was an awful lad. He slept about half the day, but och he wasna a that bad. He often come out to play. He kicked at the bar, pushed me round corners on my bike. As long as Granny didn't see, we could just about do if it were light. He file sat in my hame-made cart and get whizzing down the hill. Granny shouted, "Losh, what's your hurt? I hope you've made your well." There aye was a grin lichting up his face and a twinkle in his eye. A bushy beard fell log to log, a thing o' great mystery to me. Now and again he could be serious, when he'd tak my uncle his knee, and whisper, "Laddie, full-time fleas, I used to be a youngster like he." He sat by the fire and ruffled at my hair, his feet in his best pair of slippers, and said, "You and me would have made a recht pair, if thegither we'd been nippers." His knees gid a creak when he got to his feet, his back made him screw up his face, but he just carried on, he wouldn't be beat. To go in would be just a disgrace. He aye kept his pan drops in a wee tin down by the side of his chair, but when he kent I was coming in, he aye bought 2 or 3 more. Odd fellas sweeties and butternuts tea, cool candy or a bottle of ale. He said, "It's all for you, my Loon. Go on, just help yourself." Granny get daft when he left at his pipe, when he had a long lie in his bed, but we had a wink and I didn't clipe, when he had a fly smoke in the shade. An antrin dram was like nectar to him, and a glass so crystal and clear, but the only time it passed his lips was the night he saw in the New Year. There's a thing I've aye wanted to ken. For years it's been my greatest wish. But why could Granda eat his dinner, when he aye kept his teeth in a dish? As time wore on, he began to get frail, and had to walk with the aid of a staff. He still cheered me up with mony a tale, and though I sair, I managed to laugh. The day that he left us is still seen through a mist, and my heart seemed to have been stabbed with a knife. As abdy gathered to lay him to rest, a licht disappeared from my life. And so, as I look at that picture on the wall, I dinna see a face that's grown all. For Granda, though the years have long since rolled by, you're still, after all this time, my best ever pal. Now we're heading for Foggy Loon, or to give it its Sunday name, Aberchirder, for last year's floor show. This seems a wee bit different for Stuartfield, but I'm sure you'll see something that you like or somebody that you can. The tune this time can be called only one thing, so I hope you enjoy your visit to the Foggy Floor Show. Well, it's time once again to draw in our horns after a fair trek round Aboot. But it's fine to be home again. And home again I certainly am. Sitting here in front of this fine piece of workmanship brings me full circle. For one of the jobs I had as a loon was to caw the handle that work at the bellows that made the thing work. There was a little moosey thing on the end of a bit of tow that let you ken when it was running out of wind. And when I was Eltricket, I used to wait until the last minute before cawing the handle again. Nowadays, they just flick a switch and off they go. But enough of this nostalgia. I hope you've enjoyed my latest offering and that those of you living in distant lands have had memories of him rekindled. Before I go, let's have a last look round and see one or two special places I come across in my travels. They're all different, they all have a distinct northeast flavour about them, and they're all worth seeing. So I'll leave you on the road to Offord at the other side of Millbank. A scattering of houses set on a brave face, just as though they'd been dropped for the sky. But for peace and tranquility there's nae better place, and its beauty nae money can buy. Now it's funny for a place catches your eye as your travels take you round by, and this little pub as bonny as you'll see, though some would say it's out of the way. But turn off the main road at Pitcaple and heed out the way o' Auld Rain to view the cottage inn at Durno, for you're nae likely to see the likes o't again. Then there's the grandeur o' a castle, though ruined it might be, that makes abody stand back and admire. Its history, its mystery, intrigues you and me, and sets our imagination on fire. To stand here in Buchan for shadows are cast, and think back to the days that have gone, there's nae better place to feel peart to the past than the castle recht here at Hone. But ye dinna hae to be laird o' a castle, to hae treasures and memories too, for here is something to cherish, so come and hae a look round wi' me. A collection that's been gathered together, that's looked after with love and with pride. So, fa needs a fancy big castle, fin in a housie like this ye can bide.